Hey everybody. Sorry, I've been super busy this week. I have not done a wine review all week long, and I was supposed to do this last week, the Rodney Strong Rosé Pinot Noir. I was going to keep on that whole rosé theme I was going. This is a 92 pointer. My mom says the Rodney Strong sounds like a porn star's name, so that's pretty funny. So anyways, the other one that I've been actually want to try for a while, but I was not able to find, was the Imagery Pinot Noir. This is also rated at 92 points. I believe the other one was Wine Enthusiast. I don't remember who reviewed this at it, but anyways, I can post that stuff later. We're going to be running these two, but the main thing I really wanted to focus on, and why I was kind of really attracted to like the whole rosé of Pinot Noir. I know I'm a huge Pinot fan and stuff like that, but was looking at like the different vintages and stuff, and actually seeing like like a really well done Burgundy that's been stored for a really long time, like right off the bat, that is probably going to be like your Chateau Margaux and stuff like that. But seeing ones that are like 80, 100 years old, is seeing how they lose that red color over time. And they actually do start going to rosé, and then that golden, and even stuff that was like 100 years old and stuff, having that color of like almost a really nice champagne, Pinot Noir, champagne grapes, like a kind of thing like that. So kind of wanted to do this review to just like show the couple of it. I did not notice the imagery. I tried obviously a little glass last night, it was really interesting, right? Like huge oak fragrance as soon as you crack the bottle. But it wasn't like that milled oak that sometimes that real hotness that you see. It was definitely like wine barrel, like mustiness, almost like when you have a piece of wood that's been laying in the ground and partially composted, and it's like really soaked up that earthy smell, heavy minerality. So we're there. But anyways, I tasted it, and I was really surprised for a California Pinot Noir that it had these vegetal notes that you don't typically see with your California Pinot Noirs or your Oregon Pinot Noirs. They're usually really bright, fruit forward, your typical fruit bombs. But with this, I noticed that it was there. It kind of like definitely leaned a little more to that continental, what you would expect in like a French wine, where you get that dirtiness and stuff like that. There's definitely the fruit flavors in there, the red fruits and kind of like that, but it's intermixed with, when you notice on the fragrance and the taste, a asparagus note to it, a minerality, a little bit of ironness to it, but like a definitely like a rock dust minerality and stuff. And so when I was like checking it out, just like looking on the back, I did see, and I don't know if you're going to be able to get in there. Yeah, it's not going to show very well. But what it says, at Imagery, wine is art. For nearly 20 years, we've been pairing unconventional wines with original artwork at our Sonoma estate. We're now bringing Imagery's artistic spirit to a new generation. Every bottle represents a delicious twist on tradition. The polished tannins and rich berry flavors in our Pinot Noir are blended with Petite Verdot, adding body and complexity to the wine. Savoring a glass of Imagery is an invitation to broaden your palate. So that's what's there. I don't think that it would totally qualify in that rich berry that I would see in some other Pinots, especially estate grown, they're kind of higher end, $30 to $40 bottle Pinots and stuff like that. But I want to remind the people that this right here is a 92 pointer. It's about $15. It's a pretty good buy. And then I want to focus on, and this is where, like, right off the taste, I was like, there's something else going on here that's not normal Pinot, kind of thing, would be that Petite Verdot. And I know that's typically something you see blended in, like, your Bordeaux wines and stuff like that, where you're seeing, a blend of, Cab Sauv and Cabernet Franc and your Petite Verdot of like 1 or 2% and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get this going here. pop that off, and I really want to show the color difference between the imagery. Again, I opened the bottle of imagery last night. I typically like to experience the wine over a couple of days. If you watch any of my past stuff over there. And then the Rodney Strong. All right. And that's what we have there. So both glasses. These are both made from Pinot. So, let's look at the color on that. You could see the color on this is pretty good. I really like that. It's definitely got that hints of fuchsia when the light comes across it that you typically see with there. As I mentioned, the color on the recently that I did the KJ wines wasn't awesome. It looked a little thin and almost died to me, and that might have just been the color expression, but I wasn't like, oh my god, that's a nice Pinot. But I actually really enjoyed the flavor on it. But looking at that, you can see that color is definitely a bit darker than a normal Pinot, which I can only add to the Petite Verdot, which I know sometimes they add not only for flavor and complexity on your Bordeaux wines, but for color. So it's got a really good color to it. So there's that. And then this is the Rosé of Pinot Noir. Now, I really, like, other than, like, I try to review anything that's, 87 points or better, kind of give my opinion on it. Like, I was saying, super attracted to this color because that's what I had noticed in older Burgundies, that, as they're getting there, that they get down into these really crazy rosé colors. And I've seen some other rosés of Pinot Noir that had that color. Like, it's got the rosé to it, but it's that golden sunset orange and stuff. Is that not beautiful? I think it's so nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a sniff. Don't want to say a little sniffy sniff, since Gary V trademarked that, but let's give it a smell. Oh yeah, that is nice. Now, like, that right there, that smells like a good champagne to me. More than like that, even that rosé prosecco that I recently reviewed, where there's not that grassiness that you get in some of the other rosés. This is definitely like much like the Moet champagne and stuff like that, where it's like kind of that brioche. It's that super bready kind of butteriness. Oh, that is nice. That is nice. Now, this isn't like with the Imperial. That thing was just loud. It was, as soon as you open it up, it was just really loud. Let's say this is not quite as loud, but it's got that same kind of brioche, which I wasn't really crazy about at first, but then I like, really, it sticks with you. Like, I would be thinking even this week, a week later after drinking that champagne, I was like, that kind of brioche-ness, that little bit of dirtiness and stuff like that, eggy bread and stuff like that. Definitely a little bit of fruit coming in on the other, a little bit of like apple, a tiny bit of strawberry, but not like an overly ripe strawberry. Definitely more towards that. It was picked a little bit too early and then allowed to self-ripen, but like that really good firm strawberry, like where it's just got like a good firmness to it. It's not overly ripe or soft. There's just that touch of grassiness that I pick up sometimes with like rosés and stuff like that, but it's not that lawn clipping grass and stuff like that. It more kind of elevates into that kind of what I usually express as like the dew evaporating off of grass, like when you're walking through a field of grass in the morning and stuff like that, and the sun's coming out and the vapors burning off of it, and there's that essence of the grass there. That's what I get there. That I love when a wine has that, where it's not just that, okay, this is great, it's got some earthiness to some grassiness to it, but it's that, dew evaporation off of grass. This is nice. I'm really loving the smell of this. So let's go ahead and give it a little try. Good acidity. Surprisingly enough, which I don't usually see this in Rosé, but there's a little bit of pepperiness as it kind of goes into that back end heat that you see with wines, like, or where you would have kind of find that oakiness on the back end and stuff. Right about there, it is a little bit of oakiness blend with just a tiny bit of pepperness, but you hit into some of those apple pear, like this tastes like champagne to me, or like a good sparkling wine, maybe even with a little bit of like a blend would be you typically see with some Chardonnay in it. This is actually really amazing. It's got a good acidity to it, but it's not that sour acidity. It goes from almost like a sharp bite, like you would expect with like a lemon candy, like a sour candy, but it doesn't go all the way there. Definitely some citrusy type tones. So much lemon, but a little bit of tangerine. This is pretty fantastic, actually. I'm pretty impressed with the Rodney Strong here. I would definitely, after having to stay that, let me try one more little bit. This is nice. I just can't get over that fragrance, especially for a California wine. That's what I'm saying. You typically, that kind of brioche-ness and kind of like that yeastiness that you get with some of your French wines, what typically wouldn't be like as fruit forward. You don't see that from California that often and stuff like that. I wouldn't expect that there. And it's like I said, as I've kind of experienced more, and my palate has been changing, I'm loving this. I actually love this way more than your average rosé. This is some fucking good shit. I would definitely drink this again. All right. Now we got that out of the way. I already talked about some of the tasting notes that I experienced for this, but this is nearly 24 hours later on the imagery. So let's give it a little smell. Definitely with the oakiness and stuff. Like, I like some oakiness to my wine, but I think it really does come down to that whole oak monster thing. I wouldn't say this is quite an oak monster. Maybe like a little bit of a baby oak monster, like an oak monster in training, or a really old oak monster. Because like I said, you get that mustiness that you would like. It's literally like smelling the inside of a wine barrel. Like if you've ever done that before, like seen the wine barrels when they've just come from like being used and stuff like that, and they're going to be sold for planters or run, and they're still stained red on the inside and stuff like that. That smell, that earthiness, that where like I was explaining, it was almost like you left a piece of wood there, like that. It's not there. When I know some of the other wines I've described, the oakiness is like a milled white oak, because that's what it smells to me. It smells like you're in a cabinet shop and somebody milled some white oak there, and that essence that's in the air and stuff, that just milled white oak. This is completely past it. It's got an agedness to it. This is also a 2018, so it's not like it spent a ton of time in the barrel or the bottle. But past that, the oakiness, that's when you kind of see right on the like mid into that vegetal. It's definitely more asparagus than it is green bell pepper, but there's that kind of definitely green veg in there, and kind of saying like maybe a broccolini, kind of like a little bit ahead of there. It's definitely green veg, And I think that is way more prominent than the berry notes. They're there, but you got to search for them a little bit. But it goes pretty much from that on the smell, from the oak into the vegetal into like a strong minerality. Like somebody just grinded up or cut a rock in half in front of you and you got that dust on your tongue. It's definitely a grittiness. Some of the minerality that you see in other wines doesn't get that grittiness. It's there. You kind of notice it. And I actually kind of rather enjoy that that grittiness is there. There's a few irony tones, there again, some of these flavors I pick up a lot because I've cut a bunch of metal. I've cut rocks in half. So that's kind of how my palate expresses it. So let's give it a little taste. There's that bit of there. I've noticed that the minerality holds to it. Not so much on the taste that you get the vegetal, but last night, like it really was like super vegetal. It's opened up more in there. You still get that oakiness, but it's not quite as strong. A little bit of heat. But I've noticed that it's different than when some Pinots where if they are super oaky, you get that heat on the back end. It lingers with you. Like you get the flavor, it hits the oakiness, a little bit of heat. The heat subsides back to the oakiness, and then those vegetal notes and stuff like that. I really think that it stands out different than other Pinots in that range with the Petite Verdot. Like this is, I want to cook with this wine. I would love to just take a whole mess of onions and just cook them down with this stuff and put it on a sandwich or just eat them just like they are and stuff like that. So it's got a lot going for it. I think that it's unique that they blended the Petite Verdot in. And so if you're interested in that, I think that on this particular wine, for my palate, that 92 points is a bit of a stretch. I really do. I'm more seeing this somewhere in the range of 89 to 90. This is my opinion. I'm not a master sommelier. I have been a chef. I've drinking a lot of good wines over the years. Maybe not your $25,000 a bottle shit, but in my opinion, this is a 90-point wine. Would I drink this again? Probably. Is it my favorite Pinot? No, it's not. But out of these two expressions, this right here, like I said, I'm fucking loving the color on this, the smell on this. If you're looking for something a little bit lighter, to enjoy in the winter, this is nice. This would be a great summertime wine to it. But I just absolutely adore the color and the fragrance on this. So on the imagery, we're going about, let's see, let's try it with the bottle. We're going about $15 a bottle. I think it was Jeff Wong or somebody who did the review on this. Like I said, I'm going to roll in there about 89 plus, maybe 90 points. I just think it's not quite there. The Rodney Strong is coming in just about $18 a bottle. I definitely think this is a great value. This is a great wine. Some of the flavors that are definitely things that you would see typically on a little bit more of a mid-range champagne. Like I said, it's a great experience. This at 92 points, I would say is well-deserved, and I would rate it myself at a 92 points as well. Great job on that, wine enthusiast. But those are the expressions of Pinot Noir. This is a little bit longer video. I do want to kind of touch on, I like doing the short TikTok and Instagram reviews, but they do feel a little rushed. And I feel like when I watch those, okay, you see the wine, you see the color. Maybe I talk about the fragrance a little bit, but watching Wine Library more and just like seeing how Gary interacts with those, I was like, I wanted to incorporate a little bit more of that. I'm not trying to copy the guy, but what he did and how he talks about the wine, he really does put a lot of information out there. And it's not more like, I want to try that, but it's passing that along. Am I some master sommelier, no. But at the same time, I know more than your average, probably, consumer, that just goes and picks up a bottle on an occasion. So really, I'm trying to extend the opportunity for people to kind of learn along with me as that goes. So this is definitely going to be a YouTube video. I got a couple little short things that I'm going to try to post on TikTok and kind of back and forth. Maybe I'll link this up and you guys can check that out. But anyways, I really hope that you enjoyed this and stayed with me for the whole 20 minutes. And if you did and you're interested in trying some Pinot, let me know what you think. If you find something interesting, I think that seeing these different expressions of the Pinot compared to some of the stuff that I've been drinking in the past shows you what you can. And like I said, if you can see any of those videos of like James Suckling and some of those guys, cracking up some of those bottles from like 1911 and stuff like that. Just look at the color on those Pinots, how it's faded down into that Rosé and golden champagne and stuff like that. So I know they were still talking about it was still had a lot of the fruit in it, but hopefully one day I get to try a bottle like that. But for right now, this is what I'm working with. All right, I hope you guys all have a good one. Thanks for watching my video, and we'll see you on the next one.